Getting into chapter 8, we're going to focus on confidence intervals. And this is where we can actually start using our samples to make predictions about our population. So a confidence interval gives an interval of plausible values for our parameter, our population. And to calculate that, we have a point estimate. We'll talk about what that is in a moment, plus or minus a margin of error. You may have seen this in reading in the news. They say we're going to predict something with a margin of error of plus or minus 3%. That's common in elections and other kinds of predictions, maybe sports. All of those things give us a point estimate with a margin of error. You've heard me ask you many times in class, how confident would you be with your predictions about our population? And that's literally our confidence level. And you'll see how that comes into play as we proceed. Interpreting confidence intervals, and I am not kidding here, memorize this. This is something that will not be provided to you on the AP exam. So where it says memorize that statement, seriously. It'll make more sense when I get into this example.
So 2 weeks before a presidential election, a polling organization asks a random sample of registered voters the following question. If the presidential election were held today, would you vote for candidate A or candidate B? So based on this poll, the 95% confidence interval for the proportion who favor the candidate A is this range. And we're going to interpret this confidence interval. We're going to use this statement here to interpret it. This is the interpretation. So I'm just going to plug my information into the variables and the blanks. So I'm starting out with we are 95%. So the problem actually states 95% confidence interval. We will see different confidence intervals throughout our textbook and our problems, but 95% is the most common, and if not given any more information than that, you should default to use the 95% confidence interval. The next part of the statement, we are 95% confident that the interval from 0.48 to 0.54, that's also given in our problem, but you will soon learn how to calculate that yourself. So just getting down the terms is what we're focusing on now. And the part that's often missed by AP students is this parameter in context. So what are we trying to measure? And how does it apply to the question we're trying to answer? Rounding it out, if you read the problem once again, it says we're looking for a proportion. Sometimes it could be a mean, a median, it could be a range, an IQR. You really have to figure out what the question is asking. But you can see we're finishing out. This range captures the true proportion of registered voters who favor candidate A. Too many students stop with the word proportion and don't give the context of the statement.
The point estimate is the statistic that's used to create the interval. So in this problem, since we're looking for a proportion, our point estimate is p hat, and it is always halfway between the endpoints of our interval. So we can add our endpoints and divide by 2 to find our point estimate here. So what this is saying is that the proportion that was used, the p hat that was found from a sample, was 0.51. The second question part of the question asks about the margin of error. The margin of error is the distance from the point estimate to interval endpoints. So I can take that point estimate, subtract either one of my endpoints. Since it's a distance, positive, negative doesn't matter, and we'll actually get plus or minus 0.03 would be my margin of error. So you can see that that's the distance from p hat to the endpoints of the interval. And the final question asks, based on this poll, a political reporter claims that the majority of registered voters favor candidate A. And we want to use the confidence interval to either say that their claim is true or doesn't hold merit. So just a review that whenever it asks for a majority, that just means more than a half. And if we take a look at our confidence interval, we would say while the point estimate is over 1/2, that any value from 0.48 to 0.454 would be valid. So there is a possibility that the true proportion is less than 50%. So you've heard some of this terminology before. We'd say, well, p hat does equal 0.51. The interval of plausible values could be below that. There is not convincing evidence to support this claim. So here's another saying for us that you really want to memorize. If we take many samples of the same size from this population, 95% of them will result in an interval that captures the actual value. So we'd replace parameter with either mean or proportion or whatever we're trying to measure. There is an applet that will help you. It's a little hard to find from that URL that I've provided, so I'm going to drop another one here in the notes section. This is a screenshot of what that applet does, and it's a little more detailed on the applet, and we're going to look at it together in class. But this is a sampling distribution from some population that would be much wider than what this shows. So this mu is the true, this is always our sampling distribution ends up being centered around our true mean. And we've got some different values of X bar. So my different means can fall from anywhere from here to here. And these are X bars. So these little red dots represent X bar. And the green line represents the margin of error. So what I'm saying is I do a sample, and that's what this is representing. I take a sample from my population, and the X bar, the mean of that sample, fell here. Well, my margin of error allows this much difference from the true mean. And you can see that most of the time, 95% of the time, that green bar will capture the true mean of the population. Now, this one time, this represents the 5% of the time that we miss. So 5% of the time, whatever my X bar is, whatever my estimate of the mean is, it misses the mark. That's what a 95% confidence level means. It doesn't mean that I'm capturing 95% of my population. And that's a misunderstanding a lot of students make. It means 5% of the time, I'm going to be wrong. I'm not even going to be close. I'm not going to even closely represent the true mean. Now, here's another thing that's that we also need to realize. At 95%, take a look at some of these red dots. They're quite a ways away from the true mean. So I'm allowing myself a lot of difference from that true value, from that true parameter. Thank you. And if I were to make my confidence intervals smaller, I would miss the mark more of the time, but I would give a more accurate reflection as to what the mean would be. It means these red dots would have to be closer to that black line because these green bars would be a lot shorter and they would miss the mark more often. But I'd be more accurate with my prediction or with my estimate.